Hello, high-tier players. So the Marvel Rivals developers just posted a little while ago, giving us some more clarification on what exactly they did and what their intentions are regarding balance updates in the ranked system. So let's go ahead and take a look at the full details together here. So they start us off with season changes and mid-season balance adjustment explanations. So in previous seasons, the focus was on key abilities and energy management for ultimate abilities, resulting in more stable combat pace. However, Season 2 shifts the spotlight to coordinated attacks and focusing targets, along with the necessary collective protective strategies and counterattacks, which has led to a more intense combat rhythm. Alright, I guess that's one way of putting it. In this fierce environment, strategists face increased pressure, needing to monitor teammates' health very closely while carefully using their key abilities and being mindful of their positioning on the map. That just sounds like business as usual. It doesn't really sound like anything different or new is in there at all. It's just more of all that. You got to be more aware. You got to be more careful, and mistakes are punished more heavily. I think that will be actually pretty well received because they were very easy to play for, honestly, all the way up until now. Meanwhile, vanguards and duelists must not only attack effectively, but also provide better protection for their strategists to achieve victory. Okay, that's a big one because I saw a lot of people, especially like streamer personalities, saying that dive especially, strategists just need to be able to deal with dive. It's not duelists' job at all to monitor them. That seems to be in conflict with what the developers are designing into the game here. That says right there. So let's continue. In the upcoming patch, we will enhance the damage capabilities of certain strategists to elevate their threat levels, which in turn will increase team composition possibilities. Okay, so that could be very easily overtuned. They'll have to be very careful with this. Luna, Snow, and Mantis disables, the sleep and the freeze. Those now could very well become just plain old deadly. You can't survive them if they get you with it. So we'll see what they do with that. Potentially that does give strategists at least the ability to hit back against dive, because they are definitely having a very high intensity combat rhythm, as they put it earlier. Additionally, we will make minor adjustments to a few heroes. For example, Groot and Captain America will see slight reductions in survivability. Okay, I think Groot's nerfs will be well received. Captain America I didn't really see a problem with yet, but maybe that was an issue. Spider-Man's amazing combo damage range will be slightly decreased. That'll probably be alright. Doctor Strange will require less energy for his ultimate. I guess they decided they nerfed him a little too hard. And Winter Soldier's Tainted Voltage and Team Up ability will be slightly buffed. Good, because that thing absolutely sucks right now. There's no one using that. Nobody wants to touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. So they need to make that viable. Since this is a mid-season balance adjustment, we aim to be cautious, keeping changes to a minimal to enhance the experience of certain heroes without drastically altering the overall meta. Okay, as we move into 2.5 with Ultron's arrival and new team-up ability adjustments, we'll consider broader, more comprehensive balance changes. Okay, so don't expect too much with this. They're saying that they want to have a very light touch. So I guess going back to what I said earlier with the strategists getting damage capabilities, that's probably going to be on the light side. Watch them absolutely prove me wrong on that. All right, let's continue and check out the next part. All right, so let's go into the last section here. Competitive performance points. Now, this I think probably was the most heavily discussed online because all the strategists were noticing that their gains were a lot less and their losses tended to be a little on the heavier side. I saw some people really exaggerating this, saying like, oh, I lost 40 points. Nah, most people were losing around like maybe 21 to 25, which is still kind of on the heavier side, especially since we used to be losing somewhere in like the upper teens. So let's see what they do for that. In each match, hero performance rating is calculated based on average key combat data for that hero at the player's current rank. Okay, so that's actually very good, assuming that's actually how it works. The more a hero's key combat data exceeds the baseline for their rank during the match, the better their performance rating, and vice versa for poor performance. Of course, these stats are adjusted based on hero usage time to ensure they aren't skewed by playtime. Okay, these sound like good considerations. If a player uses multiple heroes in a match, performance rating will be weighted according to their usage time. So that all sounds like they're taking pretty much any concerns that I would have of their calculations into consideration. That makes me think that they need to just fine-tune this, that the overall approach here is actually extremely good, but they need to fine tune where the metrics or maybe where the cutoffs for each tier are, especially when it comes to strategists. The Vanguards and the Duelists, I actually think, are experiencing a pretty good shift. It's only the strategists that seem to be having a problem here. Again, this is coming from a Flex player, so none of these roles are not known to me. I have tried all 3 of them on different accounts. I know that that we're experiencing the patch differently depending on what you play right now. So let's continue. We've noticed that compared to previous seasons, a small number of duelists have a slight advantage in performance ratings in Season 2, while some Vanguards and strategists face a slight disadvantage. Vanguard's less so. I'm not really encountering that. Strategists, I do see that as somewhat of a problem because it seems like last hits are being counted, for example, for some strategists, and that just shouldn't even really be a thing. The first part, a small amount of duelists. They must be talking about like Moon Knight and Squirrel Girl, possibly the new Iron Man as well, because he's kind of a new Siege splash guy. I don't know if. I'll see what they do when it comes to this. Again, I hope they have a very light touch like they mentioned earlier, because this could very easily swing the other direction. However, most heroes remain balanced. In the upcoming patch, we will optimize the performance rating calculations based on the latest data to ensure fairness across all heroes. Okay, that sounds like what I think they need to do. So let's see what they come up with. Maybe they miss again. We'll just help them figure it all out. Balancing the game and rank adjustments is a challenging endeavor, and we can't guarantee perfection 100% of the time. That is true. However, we remain humble and attentive, striving to address issues promptly and enhance your experience. Stay tuned for official patch announcements for more updates. Thank you for your continued support and patience. All right, so this all actually sounds very good. Now, I wish they would go into the math specifically for how this is being calculated, because overall, this actually sounds ideal, but that's just my problem with it. It sounds a little too idealistic because the system is outputting some strange calculations right now for the gains and losses of strategists. So I would really appreciate if they'd been a little more clear on exactly what the math is. I'm sure we could probably extrapolate this. We'll just have to have some people getting into a test group and figure this all out. So don't despair. It sounds like some fixes are coming, or at least some adjustments. We'll see what they are. In the meantime, stay on that high tier, players, because the view from here is always worth it.